Now let's move to Tanzania. Mainland Tanzania and the semi-autonomous Zanzibar are due to hold elections for president, legislators and local officials tomorrow. The incumbent President John Magafuli is seeking re-election on the mainland among a crowded field of 15 contenders. He is the candidate of the CCM party, which has uninterruptedly governed Tanzania since independence in 1961. More than 29 million people have registered to cast their ballots. Polling stations are due to open at 7 o'clock and close at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Voting will also be held in the semi-autonomous Zanzibar, which has a history of contested polls and post-election violence. In the run-up to polls, the opposition parties complained of threats and repression as the Election Commission disqualified dozens of opposition parliamentary candidates. Meanwhile, rights groups accuse the government of curtailing free expression and press freedom. The government has previously rejected such accusations, though. All right, let's speak to our correspondent in East Africa, Daniel Kijo, looking at those elections. And we've touched on it there, Daniel, the opposition saying they haven't been able to get their observers in place, saying that this is a setup for fraud. Just give us a sense of the mood. Are those concerns still there? Tell us about the mood on the eve of elections.
Thank you so much for having me. And indeed, a couple of hours from now, Tanzanians will go to the ballot boxes and cast their vote for their next president. As you said, about 29.2 million Tanzanians have registered, and this is as per the National Electoral Commission. And this is for Tanzania mainland, but also in Zanzibar, the island, about 566,000 voters have registered to go and vote. And also, just a point of interest, Zanzibar started voting today for special groups like the civil servants, people like the police and the military. They casted their vote today. So in the government of Zanzibar had issued 2 days for elections. Now the mood is one of anticipation. Where the government has said that the government is ready. It has been distributing ballot boxes and all the other equipment and materials to be used tomorrow for the mainland. And we've seen a lot of people waiting anxiously. We've seen the internet busy, and Tanzanians are eager to see if indeed the opposition can unseat the incumbent President John Magafuli. You did touch on observers. Yesterday, the East African Community Observer Mission Team launched and flagged off their activities in Dar es Salaam. And we also know that the government had allowed about 15 countries which have embassies in Tanzania to also have observers to observe this electoral process. From pre-election activities, we know that the East African Community Observer Mission Team had already started going around and doing its jobs. We know the team will go and be stationed in about 31 different regions. So as it stands, the government says it's ready. Opposition say they feel they can take power. So it's indeed said to be a classic showdown tomorrow.
And if this election is free and fair, Daniel, who seems to be in the lead? Because there's a popular President, John Magafuli. Apparently opposition parties have got rid of some of their differences to rally behind one main rival, Tundu Lissu, who's also pretty popular.
Yes, indeed. Now, let me put it into perspective for our viewers that Tanzania mainland, incumbent President John Magafuli will face 14 other presidential candidates. Tomorrow, citizens will be voting for the presidential seat, for lawmakers, meaning MPs, as well as local government representatives, meaning chancellors. Now, in Tanzania mainland, the top three candidates are obviously the President John Magafuli, who's 60 years old, and we have the main opposition party challenger, Mr. Tundu Lissu, who's 52, and the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Bernard Membe, who is representing ACT. Coming to Zanzibar, there's going to be stiff competition between ACT with Maalim Seif, who is a prominent figure in Zanzibarian politics. In fact, this is his sixth time trying to run and unseat CCM for the presidential seat with different parties in the past. He was with CAF, and now he's with ACT. And also the former the man who comes from a presidential family, Hussein Mwinyi, a 53-year-old, is also expected to run against him tomorrow. So as it stands, the main challenger for President Magufuli on the mainland is Tundu Lissu, a man who recently returned from Belgium after assassination attempt in 2017, and a man who says he will bring reform and change. President Magufuli is of the view that he wants to continue building the country infrastructurally and taking Tanzania to a new sort of now climbing. It's already a low income, middle income country. He wants to now propel it to a legitimate middle income country. According to the report by Trends Consulting, a Kenyan firm, released a report about a week or 10 days ago saying that as it stands, they feel President Magufuli on the mainland is leading with 80% of the vote. So it seems, according to those reports, that perhaps it could be President Magufuli going for a second term. But as Magufuli, as the opposition says, they are ready and they're looking to put up a strong, stiff fight.
All right, thank you very much. We'll follow those Tanzanian polls going to those polling stations tomorrow. That was SABC News correspondent Daniel Kijo.